changes. That's what we're going to talk about on PB and Cashew Show. What's up, PB Cashewville? It's your boy PB.
And I'm Cashew. What's up, PB Cashewville?
Yes, this is a pre-recording. We're breaking down the imagery, not the imagery. What is it? The picture that this is like recorded live on a Saturday, but
Sunday.
It's
Today's a Sunday.
No, but we usually record on a
Oh
Saturday.
yeah, we're usually recording on a Saturday.
We usually record on a Saturday, but because we've got so much going on this week, taxes, New Heights is starting up this week, taxes, work, training, and everything. Because of that, we decided that we had to do a early episode. But this episode is going to be pretty good, I think, and helpful, I hope, especially discussing changes.
Yes, but before we get into that, I just gotta say, PB tried to trash talk me a lot today when we were playing volleyball, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Because here's the other thing though. Because I did not have volleyball gear.
Now he's just making excuses.
I didn't have volleyball gear. I was playing volleyball in cowboy boots and dress pants in a shirt and tie.
Now he wants to make excuses. He was trash talking all the time.
And despite that, and you can ask a lot of folks there today, I did okay. Despite all that. Despite that. So, but I think I could have been better if I was better prepared. And I will next week. So, Cash, if you feel up to it and you want to come and try to see if you can come up on this guy, I challenge accepted.
One of these days, brother. One of these days. I don't know about next week.
Not for nothing, though. Matt is an excellent volleyball player. He has a pretty decent serve. A lot of other parts of the game, he's actually better than me because he's better coordinated. There's so many times that I got it, and I'm like, it goes over my head. So that's the thing. So today we're recording this on a Sunday, and so it's a bit of an emotional Sunday because this is going to be the last time that Matt's going to be with me as a co-host, a member of Northeast Baptist Church, and he's going to go off and help Brother Zach Kinsman over in New Heights Baptist Church. And so I would do oh my goodness, it's so sad that you're leaving. But PB and Cashew will still stick around. So that's awesome. So are you excited about this great new opportunity?
Yes, I'm excited and nervous.
Yeah.
I'm excited and nervous, because it's funny because we're talking about change, and one thing about change is like sometimes, you have the challenges in change, sometimes you have is everything going to go well,
Right.
You have the challenge, as we're Christians, and sometimes you got that question like, am I making the right decision,
Correct.
And stuff like that. So, it's exciting, it's exciting because I'm, starting something new, but it's just nervous and a little scared because it's like, what's going to happen?
Right. Normally, whenever changes happen, my view of it always is really the same kind of thing that they talk about in 1 Timothy, where it said God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. I think that's one of the things that fears are going to be the things that's going to be one of the major things that we're going to be dealing with. But again, we have to try to take a look at these particular instances where change happens and try to look at it from the perspective of new opportunities and new things. So I guess our discussion of changes now, what makes it so challenging? So when you had, what was probably one of the major instances, probably besides this one, where it's a whole new thing to you and it's something that it's like, you felt a little overwhelmed or even fearful about what was going on in your particular scenario?
I got a couple. I think one would probably be when I went to college. I went to Howard Anderson College, and that's a lot. It's just a lot of you got a lot of emotion because first of all, I'm going to a new state. I'm going to Indiana. second of all, I don't really know that much people there. You know, I know a
Mm-hmm.
couple people, but I don't know that much people. So I gotta meet new faces and meet new people.
Right.
And it's just so much. You know, it's just so much to take in. You know, because now you're realizing, oh, I'm gonna be far away from my family.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. You know, I'm gonna be am I gonna have help or stuff like that. It's a challenge. You know, it does scare you when you had to move. You know, move to a different state. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think another one will probably be recently, not too long ago. I moved from my parents' house to
To
my
your
own place.
place.
I live with my sister, but because it's more, living in Connecticut's expensive. But that was another, scary situation because now I just have to deal, like, oh, how I'm gonna pay the bills, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
But that happens, when once. One thing I'll say about change is you learn a lot from change.
Yeah,
You
I
learn how to
agree.
be more responsible. You learn how to have more character in yourself. And it could be scary. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, it can bring happiness and enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. It's been fun living. Living in a different place. When I went to college, I'll be honest with you, there were times where I didn't want to be there, or times where like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's right.
So changes, it's you're always gonna have, even sometimes you're always gonna have those challenges no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes change can be good.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, with me, like the biggest changes that I've had to deal with really was moving from place to place. In my entire lifetime, I've lived in three different countries. I've lived in I was born in the Philippines, lived in Canada, and lived in the United States. And in the United States itself, there's been so many different places that I've lived. And there's a part of me that really loves that really loves the fact that there's always been these opportunities for change. Like, I'm living in one place, then another place, and another place. And that was exciting. But then there's also a part of me that, oh gosh, I don't want things to change too much because it's been changing all my life. But I've learned to just run with it, to live with it. There was one time I complained, not complained, but just kind of aired this grievance out to my mom. I said, you know what, mom, it stinks so much. Everybody's just been in like the same place. They have like roots in these places. But she said, but with you've had the experience of going to all of these different places, and your life is much richer because of that. Because one of the challenges about being in with changes, it's always unfamiliar territory. Like for me, it's different geographic locations, different cultures, and there's a lot of challenges that come with that. Like for example, moving from the Philippines to a Western nation, there's these huge disparities. We discussed it briefly during the our bullying episode, but also just trying to adjust with being the one Asian kid in a class of mostly white people, and they're probably not used to seeing that kind of person before, and but trying to deal with those adversities just makes you stronger. I agree what you mean when change happens. It's something that kind of shakes things up and makes you learn how to adjust to these particular things.
Yeah. Like I said, we probably have a lot of changes in our lives. Once you graduate high school,
Hmm.
like for instance, when I graduated high school, I had to get a job.
Hmm.
That's another change. I had to figure out how to work that schedule, how to be more responsible. Showing these jobs like, oh look, I can I can work for you guys.
Yeah.
I am responsible. I am reliable. You got that. Or sometimes when you're a teenager, when you turn 16, or even when you're 18, you get your permit and your license.
Hmm.
That's another change right there. Sometimes when you're like in your 20s, 21, 25, 18, get your own place, get your own house or get your own apartment. you
Hmm.
know College is another, like I said, college is another example where after you finish high school you could transition to college if you want. That's another big change right there in your life.
Hmm. Correct.
And there's just multiple things. I heard a preacher said this, and this is the truth. It's I think at the age of 15 to 25, those are probably going to be the times where you have those biggest decisions.
Big
And
decisions
those
of your
big
life. Yeah.
decisions can change your life a lot.
Hmm.
Some people get to the part where marriage comes.
Hmm.
I'm not married, but there's people I know that's younger than me, or that's younger than me, that are already married, and they had to have change with that.
Hmm.
Having a new, having someone with them.
Spouse, kids,
Families.
places. Yep.
When they have kids and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Where they're gonna move. Have to work together. Like for me, my change right now is just getting used to Newtown, getting used to the
Yeah.
place. I don't live in Newtown, but I'm going to be at a church that's in Newtown. So my thing is I had to learn the streets and figure out everything, and it's exciting. I'm excited for it, Like I said, scary, not gonna lie, I'll be honest, Like I said, today's a sad day, an emotional day because I'm leaving my home church, which is Northeast Baptist Church, and my heart, that church has my heart, it's my home church. Been there since I was like 5 to 6. I've been there since I was a little kid. I was there when they were in Brewster.
Yeah,
They were called
Victory Baptist.
Victory Baptist Church. I hope I was right. I believe it was Victory Baptist Church, and I was there when they merged and became Northeast. They came to Danbury. So I've been at that church for a while. Yeah, I left a couple times. That's just life, But then I came back, and so it's been my home church ever since. And so it has it has my heart. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say, it has my heart. Everybody there I love. They're like my family.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to a new church, New Heights. But I'm excited, see what the Lord has there.
I guess one of the questions, since you're somebody that I've known you for years, and you've had like these experiences in which you're somebody that has to cope with changes. So I know that we've always said that you do have to make adjustments and you do have to do these particular activities to be able to cope with these changes. So what's something that you've done to make these particular adjustments? Like maybe, for example, like now going to Newtown, what are the things that you've been doing to be able to cope with those changes?
Well, yeah, like I said, I go to church and I Christian, I pray a lot, Before I made this decision, I really did pray. I was asking the Lord, give me guidance, give me wisdom. I'm not gonna go into detail. There was a couple things that kind of the Lord showed me. It's like, okay, you have to go to Newtown. And I prayed about it, and I kept praying, like, Lord, you sure this is what you want me to do? He just showed me in the Bible. I read my Bible. He showed me in the Bible. He showed me, like, right then and there, it's time to do a new start and start fresh,
Right.
And it's the same thing with when I went to Bible college. The story. I was nervous. I didn't have. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have nothing, like no money to go, but the Lord told me that, and it was July, and it was, the college starts in August, I think, or September, and the Lord told me, I was at a youth conference, and a youth conference for teenagers, but I was already like 20, but I was a chaperone. But the Lord, He told me, like, hey, you need to go to Bible college. And I said, I don't have the money for it, and I kept praying about it. And little did I know, I needed, like, I think $1,000. I think someone, the church donated $1,000.
There you go.
And, that's why I'm like, okay, the Lord wants me to go there. And, like I said, it was a change. It's scary, but you learn a lot, Yeah, I learned a lot ever since honestly, ever since I came out of high school, it's been nothing but, like, trying to figure out my life and get a lot of changes, where it comes to, like, getting a job, finally getting your license, It took me a while to get my license, but I finally got it, I got it in, like, 2017 when I was, like, almost about to be 21, almost. I was, like, 20 still. But,
It's never too late.
It's never too late, but, you're gonna, and then when I came back, changes after changes, I had to get new jobs. Couple things happened. I'll go into detail with that. Got a new place, So constantly it's just change after change, It's just like once you keep going through it, you get used to it. If you want to be honest with you kind of get used to it. It's like, yeah, it gets a little sad and emotion, but you're like, I gotta get used to it, and I'm kind of used to it. Today, like I said, today was a little bit different for me because it's my home church, And
right.
It's sad. It really is sad.
Would you say, though, that it is one of the things that makes changes very difficult is that you're in what's known as the comfort zone, like, and being in a new place takes you out of that particular comfort zone. What were the things that you've done to be able to kind of deal with that, to be able to see that, oh, you know what, it's a brand new thing, it's different from what I'm typically used to. What adjustments did you need to make in order to cope with that?
For me, I feel like here's how it works, I think, for me. When I'm in my comfort zone, and then next thing you know, that comfort zone that I used to have
Mm-hmm.
doesn't become a comfort zone no more.
Ah.
So
So
when it stops becoming, I feel like it stopped becoming a comfort zone no more,
okay.
and like a lot of things are just happening. It's not that I'm weak, but it's like, you know, just a lot of events happen, things I don't agree with and stuff like that. Then that makes me like, you know, what do I do in this situation?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, and that happens a lot. You know, that happened a lot. You know, it happened when I moved out. You know, I was like, it's, you know, my comfort zone was like, you know, I had to change that comfort zone. And that's there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with changing your comfort zone, especially if your comfort zone gets, you know, ruined at first. Because at the end of the day, for me, I feel like the Lord has something better.
Right.
You know, for me, I feel like if if my comfort zone got out of control and I have to get a new comfort zone, that's because the Lord has something better for me.
Right. I think you know the safe thing is since we're in the topic of comfort zones, God always has to be your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's I think the thing that's gotten both you through these things and me through these things is that if you're gonna be in a comfort zone, so to speak, that comfort zone has to be in the Lord.
And then if you're wondering like what can ruin your comfort zone, well, let's say okay, let's say this. Let's give you a demonstration. Let's say you like a girl, right? Let's say you like a girl,
Okay.
and you pray to the Lord, pray to the Lord, pray to the Lord. I want this girl. I want this girl. I want this girl. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, open that door, open that door, open that door, open that door. But the Lord is telling you no.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what will happen is the Lord will close those doors.
Yeah.
Can He open those doors again? Yes, He can open those doors. But sometimes you know I hear this a lot. Sometimes you need changes in your life to be more mature, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can go back to where you came from.
That's true. Yeah, because sometimes, like in those particular places, you're not equipped to be able to deal. Like a good story is Moses. Okay, we take a look at Moses. In his heart, I believe that Moses is somebody that wanted to really liberate the Israelites. And someone would assume, oh, you know what? The guy like that has power in Egypt, should be able to just be like, boom, Israelites are free. I don't think he had the right mindset. So he had to go to the wilderness of Sinai, and this is in the book of Exodus. Go to wilderness of Sinai, experience that change, the difference of being not this prince of Egypt anymore, which is, by the way, an awesome DreamWorks picture.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. And to no longer like this prince of Egypt, but now servant of God. But in order to become servant of God, it's being taken away from that particular comfort zone. Once he's learned how to become a servant of God in that place, in a place that's completely foreign from what he's used to, then that's where God is. The fact that you have that willingness to go to that place and the humility to go to that place and accept the change, God works on you and then miraculously brings you back to that place where you were going to be going to originally, but now you're actually prepared to go there. So yeah, I agree. Like change is always a catalyst for growth. I think, and it's something that always will spur something. It's always going to be something that's going to make you think in a particular different direction. And yeah, change is always good. With the right things, change is always good. Like for me, I thought that I was going to be in Manhattanville until the day I die or something like that. But the changes that have happened, venturing out into that's what like I think the Bible says, cast out into deep or go out into the deep. And because I think going out into the deep within like the structure of what God tells you is like one of the best places to go because you'll learn things there that you probably would not have learned otherwise.
Yeah, and then there are some changes that there are changes that can like ruin you though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
here's my experience with changes. Me personally, it's like, you know, like I said, me and you, we pray, we're Christians. Me personally, it's when I try to do it my own way and do my
Mm-hmm.
own changes, it doesn't work out the best.
No, it
It
does
really
not.
doesn't. And that's the thing I feel like, because I'll be honest with you, there's so many times where I have my own plans, want
Mm-hmm.
to do my own dreams, but then it got changed.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where I'll be like, why does my plans always get changed? But at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, sometimes my plans doesn't work out, and the Lord will show me that, look, this wasn't going to work out.
Correct. Yes.
And then it's like, okay, now I understand. So if I could say something about change, it's like, you're always going to have change in your life, especially if you're a teenager listening to this, and you're going to have change constantly when you're a teenager to an adult. When you're in the age of 15 to 25, those are like the biggest decisions in your life. That's my real opinion. Yes, it's true when you're like 30 or 40, you still have big decisions.
Oh yes.
But you still have, if you do everything right, if you do what the Lord wants you to do, by the age of 15 to 25, you have probably mostly the biggest decisions. Because when you are 16, you can get a job. Actually, you probably get a job when you're 14. Probably.
Any age you can.
When you're 16, you mostly could get a job.
Yeah, I'm a supporter of you can start working at any age. I remember babysitting when I was 12 years old. So,
but the ideal thing is like when you're 16,
work, yeah.
you can get your job, you can get your permit. When you're 18, you graduate college. You can go, or even 17, and then not college, high school.
High school, I was like, man,
that's messed up. High school, and then you have a choice if you want to go to college, whatever college you want to go to, and then let's say you do go to college, you might meet the one that you forever. Then you're gonna have to do the wedding and all that fun stuff, and then you're gonna have a life with them, maybe have kids with them. So that's for me. That's the age of 15 to 25. And like I said, you're always gonna have change, but sometimes change can be good. Sometimes change could be bad, but mostly it could be good.
Yeah, I think any kind of change that happens in your life, sometimes it's something that is good or bad, but I think in the end of it, it's always something that you can always learn from.
Yeah.
It's just your matter of perspectives. And I think the way that we looked at it is really in terms of changes. Do you look at it as something that's bad, or do you take a look at it as an opportunity? That's one thing that I've always had to try to convince myself that it's an opportunity.
I mean, you want to be, like I said, sorry that we keep bringing it up. Like I said, we're Christians, so we're gonna say, Bible. There's some characters that had a lot of changes in their life. Job. Almost said Job. Me honest with you, I used to thought it was Job, but it's Job. Job had a lot of changes. Joseph had a lot of changes in his life. David had a lot of changes in his life.
Every single Bible character
had a lot of changes.
Like Ruth, Naomi, Esther. There's always going to be something. I think that's how God grows you.
But it's not only you can also look at it. Let's be honest. We can also look at other, some people have role models. Some people have people that they look up to. You could look at, for example, Dwayne Johnson, how his life changed a lot. Now he's a movie, he's an actor, movie star. Kevin Hart, these guys that probably were living in the bottom. Now they have change.
Yeah, like Terry Crews's story is really amazing. It's like, one particular decision completely changes your life. And going back to what Matthew was saying, especially to the teenagers that are listening to this, watching this, those ages of 15 to 25, this is how it is. Like, those decisions that you make are going to set up other decisions later on in life. But the better decisions that you make at 15 to 25 will really also affect those decisions later on. The right ones you do at that particular age will make the ages of 26 and older to be maybe completely different in terms of sometimes definitely for good. But if you're at 15 to 25 and you're making the wrong kinds of decisions, and I can also speak of this from my own experience, it's going to set off reverberations so that when you reach the ages of 26 and 27, you're going to have a lot more challenges and be faced with other changes that you could probably have prevented when you were age 15 to 25. My best example really is church. From ages 15 to 18, I was very much involved in church, probably just as much involved in church as I am now. But then from ages 18 to 28, that's 10 years of being away from that. again, what Matthew was telling about was like the wrong kinds of changes. Making that particular change, thinking that church is not important, thinking that the Bible's not important, set off a completely different tangent. It's like one of those what if scenarios that we talked about very many times. It's
man, what if that was our second episode?
Yeah.
Right?
And again, it's one of those what ifs. It's like, what if I just stayed that particular route and made sure that church and Bible and prayer were a priority? Would there be differences in how things are now? Absolutely. But then again, it's being able to cope, being able to still readjust, to still continue to trust in God that, look, I made a mistake and this is the consequences of my choices. But then going back to, as we said in the beginning, the comfort zone of God, being in that particular zone, that's the safest place that you can be. And from there, you can start to make the right decisions and institute the right kinds of changes in our lives to be able to bring us back to where we need to be. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully that makes sense to somebody. But I think that's so true. It's like changes are the things that we always need to put input into our lives, and also it's something that happens that causes us to become much stronger in who we are.
Amen to that, man.
Amen to that, indeed. But yeah. So again, we hope that any in like a final thought, if we could say before we close today, when change happens, yes, acknowledge the fact that there are emotions, there are adjustments, there are a lot of like fears that go through it. But it's also important to take a look at these changes to see if there's to see the opportunities for growth, the opportunities to be able to see something new in life, and to really also see what direction God is trying to take us. We can't force God's hand, but it's important to trust in Him. Just as Matthew was talking about, prayer, getting the right kind of counsel, the right kind of wisdom, so you can make the right decisions to make the right changes in your life. We hope that this is a help to you, and we hope that this is something that'll help you deal with the different changes in your life. And as we like to say every single week, we don't know you, but we love you, and there's a God above that does. I'm PB.
And I'm Cashew.
Peace out, PB Cashewville.